Hi, everybody. Welcome to Industrial Wise Webcast. We're glad to have you. This is our monthly webcast that we do. We're excited to be here and do this. Again, Industrial Y, we represent unemployment insurance, cost control matters for all employers. And now we have our HR support. Any questions, feel free to always email myself or Jolene. You can email me at aparadiso@industrialui.com. And Jolene, they can reach you by emailing you as well.
Absolutely. My email is jharrisign, HARESIGN @industrialui.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And you could always follow us on LinkedIn, Industrial UI Services. A lot of information is there. Again, we're always reachable, so please feel free to contact us. We are very excited to have a special guest this month. We have Christy Melisso. Right, Christy? Am I pronouncing your last name correct?
That's correct. Yes, Anthony.
Thank you so much. She is the Senior HCM Account Executive. Just as a side note, if you see me looking at a different direction, I'm looking at another computer screen with questions and just a little bio of Christy, so I don't forget or I don't say a name wrong or whatnot. So we're very excited for this. Just a little background too. Christy and I met last year, like in the fall, and Christy's with Paylocity, in case I didn't mention that. We met at a golf outing that Paylocity funded, or what's the word I'm trying to look for? Sponsored. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
They sponsored, and it was really a great time. And Christy and I really just connected right away. It was for beginners. For me, I don't golf much at all, so it was just fun to go. And we were in the golf cart. We were driving together, had a lot of laughs. And we just really clicked. And then we went out for lunch on Paylocity's dime, so that was always fun. So Christy, you want to give a little introduction about yourself and how you got to Paylocity and whatever you want. It's all about you right now.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you very much, Anthony and Jolene. I just wanted to say thank you for having me on this podcast today. And yeah, I'm really here to serve as a resource for anyone who's looking to approach payroll and HR in a more modern way. So Paylocity is a technology company. We are comprised of about a third of developers out of our headquarters in Schaumburg, Illinois. So it's a very agile system. It's flexible to meet the need of a 5-employee company or a 5,000 employee company. We actually use our own technology here at Paylocity, which is very rare for a payroll company to do, but we're true believers in the technology. We beta test everything before it goes out to our clients. And we actually see our clients as co-creators of the system as well. So more of a modern approach towards human capital management, or the full life cycle of a workforce, from hire to retire or hire to fire. So I head up the New Jersey, New York, Connecticut marketplace for Paylocity. I'm going on my 7th year here, which I contribute a lot, the mentality of having children. The days are long, but the years are short. So it's really an excellent culture here. And that's kind of what sparked my change. I was at Groupon about 7 years ago, building out the Northeast market for them when they went public. So super fun, crazy ride of selling digital advertising. And then Paylocity was looking for someone to build out the Northeast for them as well. And I took a look at the culture and really the leadership who drives our ship. And I hopped on board immediately. And I've been here ever since. So awesome. I'm responsible for mainly managing the partnerships that we have in place. So throughout this conversation, you may hear me mention financial advisors, TPAs, benefit brokers. We get a lot of business from those lines of, or those avenues, if you will, because we don't sell any type of 401k, group health benefits, workers' comp. We just simply stay in our lane, and we sell payroll and HR technology, but we integrate with many outside carriers, record keepers, and platforms. So, we're very much a company that doesn't want to, be a jack of all trade and master of nothing. We want to, again, stick in our lane and be really, really good at payroll and HR technology. So, yeah, and I help people understand about Paylocity. So if you have anyone interested, they would come directly to me, and we set up a discovery and a demo call to really understand what they're looking for in their next provider.
Awesome. So to plug you in here, if people want to reach out to you, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, so they can find me on LinkedIn. I'll share my handle with you after, Anthony, or they could just simply email me or text me or call me on my cell. So I'll share all that after this call.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
so what is a payroll software? Like, how would you explain that?
Yeah, so a
us,
payroll
us, us people that have no idea what it is.
Yeah. So payroll software is really a way to ensure your business is running in utmost compliance from not only a payroll perspective, right? Ensuring that your employees are paid accurately and, on time with your pay cycle, but it's also ensuring that the tax is paid properly from a local, a state, and a federal perspective. Paylocity assumes all of the responsibility on behalf of the client if they're partnered with us. So a payroll software is, in short, just making sure that everything is running smoothly and the checks and balances are on point. And then from a tax perspective, everything is filed correctly and we're remitting all of those payments on your behalf and assuming full responsibility for those filings.
Got it.
So it's more of a safety net, if you will, as opposed to doing it with an in-house piece of software where there's really no eyes on the payroll and the tax. You now have a team here at Paylocity that ensures you're operating in utmost compliance.
Awesome. And do clients have like is there a portal that the clients have access to if they want to review anything at all? Or like what's the portal like and how does that operate or how does that work?
Yeah, so we're completely cloud-based, which is kind of a game changer in our marketplace. When our two owners, Steve Beauchamp and Steve Sarowitz, when they started developing Paylocity back in 1997, they decided to make us the first cloud-based application for payroll. So I'm sure you've heard of ADP, Paychex. They were developed in mainframe technology in the 50s and the 60s. So it's very hard for a Paychex and ADP to become scalable and customizable for their clients, whereas Paylocity is cloud-based. So the technology can really be midgetated to fit the need of our clients, but it also allows them to sign on anywhere they are on the map. As long as they have Wi-Fi connection, they can access Paylocity from a phone, a desktop, a tablet, whatever they're using. The technology is going to allow them to sign on, look at everything that they need to from a payroll perspective, but then switching gears to the employee perspective, we give them a full mobile app that's a free download from the App Store, allowing them to see everything that goes on with their pay and their tax information. Because we don't purge and archive information here at Paylocity, they're always going to have a full running tally, if you will, of all of the checks that they've ever received from an organization going back years in time. And then also from a W-2 perspective, they can always access all of their W-2s, 1099s right from the mobile app. So that's just the tip of the iceberg for our mobile app. It's very robust. It has communication tools in there, recognition tools, performance management tools that really help the employer connect with the employee. So we really take it from just, an admin facing portal to giving employees access to information that they're typically bothering HR and payroll for.
No, that's great. I mean, I like the whole employer-employee aspect. So the employer has access, but also at the
Exactly.
same time, it's an employee as well.
Correct.
Any questions, Jolene? Anything you want to?
Yeah, I would assume that the software or the app has the capability to track, PTO accruals, paid sick leave, things like that. And I'm sure that would be a tremendous benefit to employers from a compliance standpoint and allowing the employee to track what PTO accruals they have left. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. And after this demo, I can actually share a view of what the Paylocity mobile app looks like, just so you can get an idea of all of the functionality. But yes, we assume all of the accruals and the calculations for our clients' PTO. So many times when we're talking to a prospective client, we ask, how are you handling time off requests? And believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, it's still pen and paper, right?
Yeah.
So my employee gives me a piece of paper the week that they want off, and I track it manually in Excel and on my Outlook calendar. Paylocity assumes all of the calculations for not only you as an admin, but your employees, where they're going to be able to see a full status board of what they've earned. And every time that they want to request time off, they can actually do it from the app as well. They're going to select what type of time they want to take. The New Jersey sick pay rule is already included right in the calculation. So we're going to give them buckets to pull from, and they can take 8 hours, 4 hours, whatever they need. That request is going to go right to a supervisor or a manager for approval. Once approved, their payroll and their HR record are updated in real time, and an out of office will go right to a Gmail, an Outlook, whatever calendar they're using. It's going to sync with Paylocity to make sure that everyone knows when that employee is out of office.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
What are some recent developments in the payroll world that employers should be on the lookout for?
So we actually just released our payroll readiness board, which was actually a client-driven enhancement. So if you have anybody who uses Paylocity, they're going to tell you, I signed on that morning and it looked just a little bit different. That means that we actually rolled out an enhancement, either it was that week or that month. Last fiscal, we rolled out about 200 enhancements to the system, and 40% of those were payroll enhancements from our clients. So that payroll readiness dash is going to show exactly what's going on with the payroll before you actually submit the process button for Paylocity to go ahead and remit the payment to the employee. So it's almost like a safety net, if you will, Jolene. It's going to tell the employee, the admin, exactly what may be off with the payroll. It's almost an audit or a spell check, so that when they are processing payroll with us, they know that it's 100% accurate. No one was paid an extra hour, or perhaps, human error, someone added an extra zero. That audit is going to catch that and ask the admin, hey, something looks a little bit off there. Are you sure you want to pay Anthony an extra $10,000 on this pay run? As fabulous as Anthony is, probably they're going to say no. They're probably going to say no. So that audit trail and that payroll readiness dash really gets our clients feeling great about the work that they just did in payroll. They know that there's nothing or no stone unturned, if you will, before processing with us.
Awesome. You mentioned before too, with the PTO items, does an employee also have access to like their records? Like, can they quickly look and see, oh wait, what do I have left? Or
Yep.
It's all in there.
Yeah, so that's the beautiful part about Paylocity assuming responsibility for the PTO calculations. They're always going to have a full status board. And again, I wish I could show my screen and show you what it looks like, but you're going to be able to see, okay, I've earned 20 hours of sick, 15 hours of volunteer time, 20 hours of New Jersey sick pay. So they're always going to be able to see which bucket they could grab from if those hours are available to them.
Is there is there a way we can put, like, when we put this out, can we is there a demo that we can attach? Like, is there a link that people can go to?
Absolutely.
All right,
Yep,
so
I'll share a link.
Off to us, and we'll share that with our viewers, and we're viewers, and we're posted along with everything, so they can go and see what exactly you're referring to, because that's great to have. Not just an employer part of it, but an employee part of it. So
absolutely,
it's great that the employee can just see it, not have to necessarily call their direct manager or supervisor to find out how much time I have left, or this just saves a lot of time.
Yeah, and the nice part too, Anthony, just to mention, is that mobile app is going to scale to the language that the employee is using. So there should be no language barrier in terms of knowing exactly what they need to do or where to grab the information they're looking for, because the system is smart enough to know that they're using Spanish as their first language on their phone, and it'll flip the entire communication with that employee to Spanish as first language.
Got it. Perfect. And you might have touched on this already, because there are a lot of benefits, but what is the benefit of having an online payroll solution?
It's a great question. typically, if it's not cloud-based, Anthony, payroll and HR are kind of chained to their desk. So having a cloud-based application really allows for them to be anywhere, right? That mentality that we now have since the pandemic, work from anywhere. This system really supports that because, again, it's going back to our makeup in the cloud. As long as they have a Wi-Fi connection, they can access our system wherever they need to be. So many times you'll hear payroll say, I can't take a vacation. Truly, I can't sign off mentally because I need to sign on and do payroll, and I don't trust that anybody else can do it. So if they are on vacation, right, they can actually process payroll if they need to, which is kind of a game changer for payroll professionals that are kind of chained to their desk and making sure that payroll gets processed properly.
Yeah, no, that's, and is there like, do you have to be like, is there a VPN that you have to connect to along with that? Or it's just as long as you have Wi-Fi, you can connect?
Correct. Yep. And everything is security driven. So they need to have obviously an admin or a super user username and login. The system is able to do thumb punch or biometric punch along with a face scan or facial recognition to log them in from a mobile phone as well.
What, this is just coming to mind now with what you, because you mentioned COVID. What changes have you seen? I mean, obviously there's the obvious changes, but what have you noticed, or what has changed with Paylocity's view since COVID, like with their payroll software and whatnot?
Yeah, so it's more on the human capital management side, how employers are managing the humans that run their company. That's where we made the most changes and the most enhancements to the system. So during COVID, we had a lot of feedback from our clients saying, well, now we're completely remote and I can't communicate with my employees the way that I used to. So we fielded all this feedback and information, and we said, all right, well, would it be helpful if we rolled out community within your Paylocity mobile app? And community is really going to serve as your very own intranet to not only communicate with your employees, but we're going to be able to celebrate and build camaraderie with your employees, even though you can't see them every day. So what community was designed to do is be a central hub within the mobile app for employers to release any alerts, any updates, anything that's going to impact that employee. It's going to pull it through to the community feed, and the employee is going to get a push notification saying that they have something to view, they have something to acknowledge within their community forum, and it pulls them right to that post from their employer. So what a lot of our clients used it for was a way to release an announcement about opening back up to work, or, hey team, here is our go back to office strategy, 3 days in, 2 days out. Please sign off on this document so that you understand all of the new protocols. And the system allows employees to sign off on anything right from their mobile phone. It's much like DocuSign. So they can release any announcements, documents, enhancements that are being made to your organization, all within community. And then because we know from their payroll and their HR record when their birthday is, when their work anniversary is, it has a social media feel too. So we're actually auto launching all of that celebratory information, such as, hey, it's Anthony's 6th year at work. Take a moment to congratulate him. And then you can actually add in a comment section where people can say, Anthony, it's been so great working with you for 6 years. There's the GIF element as well, where you can add in emojis or just some funny
How about an actual gift, like a gift card?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I love that. I love the human aspect of it, which we have seen from COVID. It's been more of a human, like a part of the culture, creating that human environment, not just like the like a computer based, not just the computer part of it, but there's actually a human behind the computer.
Correct.
That's great.
Yeah. And there's also, the recognition program that's in the mobile app too. So employees weren't walking over to one another's desk and being like, hey, thanks so much for helping me out with that project. So what we've released was Impressions, which is your very own internal recognition program. that Paylocity builds out for you. It has a gifting platform behind it. So our clients typically do like a Paylocity impression winner of the month, where if you receive X amount of badges, you get $15 to Amazon or $15 to Dunkin' Donuts. And just allowing people to spread that good vibe and really go above and beyond in helping their team and helping the organization as a whole has been a game changer for our clients. So typically they would be going to an outside program or product to find this internal recognition program. We have it completely free of charge. It's all included in employee self-service. So it's really,
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of companies actually like just do that alone, the recognition part, but you actually have that with your platform as it is. So that's
correct.
nice. Very good.
Yep.
Awesome. I don't want any questions from that conversation, or no good? The next, so what kind, I mean, you kind of went over this too, but more specifically, what kind of payroll services does Paylocity provide? Like, what are, I guess, are there different bundles that people can get? Like, what kind of packages there are?
Yeah. So that's a great piece to bring up, because we bill very differently than a traditional provider. So ADP paychecks, a lot of times you'll find that they're being charged, the client is being charged per payroll. So there's all different frequencies in payroll. There's monthly, semi-monthly, bi-weekly, weekly. So what happens is a lot of times payroll professionals, if they're with an ADP or a Paychex, they feel like they can't process an off-cycle payroll. Maybe they need to cut a one-off check, right, to someone and hand deliver it to them, or maybe there's a commission payout that they forgot to pay somebody on and they need to cut it real quick. They're hesitant to do that because they know that ADP and Paychex is going to bill their employer for that extra payroll run. So when we were designing Paylocity and the pricing packages, we said, why don't we allow employees or our clients to process as many payrolls as they want to in that month, and just tack a per employee per month fee to it, almost like a month-to-month subscription base, right? Where you can use something an unlimited amount of times, and that pricing is always going to stay the same. So our clients love that, because from a budgeting perspective, they know, okay, I have 100 employees and I pay $5 per employee per month to Paylocity. I know exactly what I'm going to be charged at the end of the month, and I can process 5 payrolls or 5,000 payrolls, and that price is never going to change. So it really opens up a lot of flexibility for a payroll processor who is nervous because they don't want the employer to get hit with another payroll charge. We just say, use the system as much as you want, process as many payrolls as you want, cut as many paychecks as you want to, and we'll bill you at the end of the month on that active employee count. So that's a big game changer for a lot of clients that are coming from ADP and Paychex who are hit with those, nickel and dime type charges.
No, that's great. That's great. And then just the last question before we end,
Sure.
Obviously there are tons of, payroll providers. Why should organizations use Paylocity? What's the stand? I mean, you mentioned quite a number during the last half hour, but what are, what things are out there that people don't know about, or why should people use Paylocity?
Yeah, so I think it's really driven from the fact that we're always 5-10 years ahead of what's going on with other providers. It goes back to being paired with a company that is forward thinking, right? We're not stuck and developing for today. We're developing for years in the future. We're watching what's happening in human resource and payroll. And because our backbone is in technology and we're, comprised of so many developers and brilliant people here, many times our clients aren't waiting on a solution or an enhancement. We've already built it for them before they even have to ask. So we're really developing at the speed of need, if you will. Whereas if it's a mainframe technology partner, such as like an ADP or a Paychex, it takes them it takes a lot for them to remain competitive. They have to buy smaller companies, bring them into the environment, hoping that everything kind of talks to one another, and it really never does. Paylocity, all of our software is homegrown. So we developed the software, we beta tested ourselves as an employee of our client of our own technology. And then it is truly one unified system. So payroll talks to HR, HR talks to time and labor talks to performance management. So it's truly an intertwined system, which cuts down a lot on the manual administrative work that you're finding with a traditional provider. So going back to your question, Anthony, I would say it's being aligned with a forward-thinking technology partner. And then again, really, it's truly our own technology. So we don't have to acquire companies and bring them into the system. Everything is organic. And if anything does happen with our system or one of our modules, you come to us versus going to a third party to fix the problem. So,
Awesome.
and service. How could I forget? Service. Service. So
Of course.
on top of
That's a given.
having a really, really great piece of technology, it's kind of deemed useless if you don't know how to use it and you don't have the support to guide you through it. So Paylocity has maintained a 93% client retention rate for over 20 years. So industry standard is about 80%. Paylocity has maintained that 93 mark for, again, 2 decades and going strong. The way that we're able to do that is we have all of our customer service teams based here in the US. So all of our East Coast clients are paired with our Lake Mary, Florida team to keep consistency with the time zone. And it's not a call center mentality. So the model that we follow is pod, meaning every client, no matter their size, has a dedicated account manager. That account manager is cross-trained on the entire system. So they can call for 3 products needing help and they can get it all nailed out in one call. And then if that account manager is in the bathroom, they're on a call, it'll route to another person in that pod. And that pod is comprised of 5 people. So they're never calling to a different country and getting placed in a queue or a hold time of 50 minutes plus. It's a 23-second wait time on average in order to get in touch with their dedicated pod in Lake Mary, Florida. From a sales rep perspective, traditional providers will have the sales rep sign up the paperwork, hand it in, that sales rep gets paid. So they really have no vested interest in staying on your account and making sure that everything is running smoothly throughout implementation. Paylocity doesn't compensate their reps until the client not only processes payroll with us, but stays with us for X amount of time. So we have a vested interest in, of course, making sure that you're happy, that everything's running smoothly throughout implementation. Our sales reps need to stay on the implementation calls to make sure that there's no gray area of what was discussed during the sales process and actually launching out the Paylocity system that they contracted for. So from a sales perspective, I stay on all of my clients' accounts for the lifetime that they do business with us.
Perfect. That's great. We're at the end of the half hour.
Nice.
But before we go, I want to just get your information so people can reach out to you, Christy. So how can people find you?
Sure. So you can find me on LinkedIn by just typing in my name, Christy Melisso, or my telephone number is 201-398-5219. And then my email address is cmalyso@paylocity.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Please, our viewers, check out Christy and Paylocity. Also, always reach out to Jolynn and myself with Industrial UI, again, or your unemployment and HR support needs. Again, we thank you so much.
You're
We're looking
welcome.
forward to we're looking forward to next month. We'll have more information on that. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Have a great one.